Hello, Rosemary. How are you doing?
Hello, Carol. I am doing really, really well. How about you?
Doing well, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Lots of noise in the area because they're doing construction. So between the beep beep of the backing up, so it's
I'm not
it's
picking any of it up on my mic, so it must not be coming in through your system. We had a gully washer toad choker downpour a little while ago with hail and everything right before we came on. So, I mean, the patio was completely soaked. I
oh,
figured that snake that was visiting last night would be trying to get out of the rain, but it's not out there. And yeah, so we got some. So you would have heard that. I mean, it was thunder and lightning, and the rain was horizontal because it was windy. So instead of coming straight down, the rain was
just
horizontal. Yeah, so I guess the monsoons are starting in New Mexico, which is great because we really need the moisture.
yeah. We're starting to warm up here, so we're
Yeah.
doing well. So we are here to talk about we're moving into July and we're doing our monthly reading and because we are doing the topic of inner peace in our Patreon community, I thought that it would be a great topic to talk about is release because, releasing really contributes to creating that inner peace. So, if you're
Absolutely.
interested in that can be a way to kind of tie the two together. So, in our Facebook group, we are creating this little yearly theme of step into your authentic self in 2025. And so each week we have a different topic. So today we are choosing the topic of release, and we're going to be using our 7 decks. So these are the cards, the reading that came about. And so I am an intuitive practitioner. I'm Carole, and I have numerous certification and studied a variety of healing modalities. I am passionate about creating purposeful tools. It's all about growth. It's about meeting your potential. It's about self-awareness, and I host group sessions, workshops around town, and also online. And I do also private sessions if you're interested in past life card readings. So this is pretty much in a GIF me. And now we move to Rosemary, just a quick
Hi, I'm
introduction.
I'm Rosie Nevada. I'm a psychic medium. I use the aptitudes that I have, and everybody can do this, by the way. You just need to hone your skills. You come in with this capacity, it's just scared or you're just talked out of it. So I was scared for a while and got talked out of it, and then I decided I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I use my aptitudes to communicate with all manner of beings. They can be two-legged, they can be four-legged, they could be in their bodies, they can be out of their bodies. Doesn't matter. This is my thing. It's what I do. I do direct readings. I also like to use divination tools. My favorites are oracle cards and tarot cards. I also, like Carol, I facilitate private sessions. I also do space clearing and energy work. And I'm very, very passionate about using my aptitudes, my gifts, to be of service to others. I'm very service oriented, so always happy to help.
Yes, yes, you have a great heart.
Thank you. So do you. Takes one to know one.
Thank you. So we are introducing our 7 day spread, and like we said, we're using different Oracle as well as tarot decks, and these are our own decks that we've created. There's a collection of family of 4 or 5, and the topic is release. So I have to grab the questions.
Oh, good, because I don't have them on my right in front of me. So thank you for doing that.
Yes. So the first question that we ask is, how has relaxing into a situation released my mind to assist me in finding new ways to deal with things? And the card that came, Rosie picked out the consciousness deck, and the card was fine tuning. And the message is so out of our card for the our consciousness deck, it's embracing the consciousness of my I am oracle. Is starts out with I am grateful for, and then whatever message. So this one is I'm grateful for releasing discordant and interfering energies, which create static and chaos. Through my spiritual psychic senses, I fine tune my energetic fields to their highest frequencies to bring me serenity. So when it comes to the topic of releasing, it's really important for us to pay attention to what comes, what are our senses picking up? And then from that is creating that acuteness and that attunement so that as we pay more and more attention, we become more and more self-aware, we fine-tune those senses and really listen to what our bodies are telling us. And I always kind of like love to mention the I learned from through heart math that the heart knows 3 seconds before the mind. So if we're
Yes.
really attuned to our senses, we can pick that up. We're it's almost like we can foresee a lot of things. Uh, it's almost like instant premonitions in some ways. It's not long-term premonition, but it's kind of like right. It's just about to happen. And we joke a lot of times with us is when we're watching TV, like my daughter hates watching TV with me and movies because I know what's going to happen next. And
Exactly.
we joke about that with you because I think with our psychic senses being so attuned, I always ask you, what is life just too predictable, or are we really fine-tuned?
We're fine-tuned. And everybody can be fine-tuned. It's just, well, you always tout and encourage and help people learn about being aware and being mindful and being intentional. And all of that is about fine-tuning. And that when you fine-tune, you have to release certain things, or it's impossible to turn that dial where you need to turn it to optimize, what you receive and what you transmit.
And I think that with the fine tuning, to me, it also means bringing discernment, because the fine tuning will really help you to, because we can be intuitive, but we could also read the signals in the wrong way somehow
That's absolutely true. Yeah,
because of the emotional detachments or turmoils that we're involved with. It's going to keep clouding our judgment unless we really kind of have that awareness to question what being in that space of neutrality rather than being engaged with the chaos and the drama and whatever, or the emotion that we find ourselves in so easily pulled into.
right. Right.
That
And that's releasing judgment. And
right.
that's becoming what Eckhart Tolle calls the sacred observer. You just step back and you're neutral and you observe. You release that need to assess and to judge and to take that information and do something with it. You just step back, you release that, and it allows you a lot more information.
Mhm. So the next question for day two for and on the subject of release is, how can I release the belief that I have to suffer through this human experience?
A lot of people believe that, and that's taught by most of the dominant world religions is that you suffer. You must suffer in order to grow. Um, I beg to differ. This card is thriving, which I think Denise Linn agrees with my begging to differ. And it comes from Denise Linn's Sacred Destiny Oracle deck. It's a beautiful card. It shows the Serengeti. It's a picture of a giraffe on the African plains of the Serengeti Plains, which can be a really, really difficult place to survive. It's a harsh environment, but some of the most resilient things flourish in harsh environments. So thriving, African savanna. In the African savanna lives the tree of life. It's a baobab tree. This is a prehistoric species that predates humans. It's over 200 million years old and they're amazing. Have you ever seen images of them? I would love
Images,
to go
yes.
see one in person. I've only seen pictures. It
Yeah.
has adapted and survived and thrived in a harsh environment where so many other species have gone extinct. The baobab can live up to 5,000 years and can reach almost 100 feet tall. They're gigantic. It's a succulent, which means that in the rainy seasons, it absorbs and stores water in its enormous trunk, and that's what it lives on until the next rainy season comes around. This water helps it produce a nutrient dense fruit in the dry season, and when the land is parched and arid, these remarkable plants provide shelter, food, and water for both animals and humans. Humans are animals. It is one of the only plants in the world that doesn't drop its fruit where it would spoil. It stays on the branch when it dries out. When it's picked, the fruit has a 3-year shelf life. Who designed this plant? It's amazing. So the message is if you've drawn this card, you are a survivor. And not only do you survive, but you use situations that others might find challenging to thrive. You expand when others shrink. This may be the time to adapt to your circumstances rather than be overcome by them. You have the remarkable ability to step beyond any challenge. You are strong. Others may find shelter in your energy, and right now, that's okay. Though giving to others, you are in turn nourished. Through giving to others, you are in turn nourished. I have the wrong glasses for reading this. This card may be urging you to step into the primal, primordial, powerful, wild part of yourself. Doing this will increase your
Fertility.
vitality and contribute to your overall well being. So, this whole card is about thriving through adversity. And that because you're a survivor, you have the opportunity, like the baobab tree, to help others survive.
But it's
And
also it reminds us the it's a perception. Suffering is a
yes,
perception, right?
suffering is a perception. And if we release that perception, then we survive. When we not only survive, but we thrive.
Mhm. Yeah, we
Yeah.
give ourselves that space. There's room for
Yes.
opportunities and expansion, and it's through that expanded lens. It's you don't see the world the same way, and what you
Right. You
might
shift your perspective. Yeah.
right, and what you might feel as challenges is it's the challenges can be seen. It's kind of like flipping that perception that it could be for you to grow. That's
Right.
instead of that suffering, then it's an opportunity to grow and to go beyond what you thought you were capable of. So it's kind
Yeah.
of so it's all about the perception of it.
Exactly, that challenge becomes a growth opportunity. It becomes if you shift your perspective and you release what you're holding on to that's holding you back.
Right. Let's see. I just want to so you mentioned, shift your point of view. So that's
Hmm.
exactly what it is shifting that point of view of
Yeah.
seeing
And
it.
that shift is a form of release for
Right.
sure.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to do. Oh my goodness. We get so used to looking through our lenses a certain way, and we have to release our vision of the way we see things and expand our peripheral vision and broaden it so that we can see different things.
Right. And um, through through that expanded lens, it's kind of like you have the ability to see things from different perspective, like different angle, you know,
Right.
and not judging it, but just kind of observing it through different eyes.
Yeah.
Um, so that way it gives you opportunities and it gives you uh, new directions, so that release of that narrow-mindedness
Yeah. That old point of view, releasing that old point of view.
just really opens door
Yeah. And you
opens.
can actually thrive.
So the next card, so day three was Nine of Air, and
Oh,
it's the Angel Tarot. And the question was, or is, what needs to be brought to my attention in order to release it? So the Nine of Air, it's about, talk about point of view. It
yeah.
talks about expecting the worst,
Mm.
self-fulfilling prophecies, sleepless nights. So
Yes. In traditional tarot, it's the nine of air as swords are associated with the element of air. And in the traditional tarot deck, the nine of air would be the nine of swords. And it's little tiny miniature candy bar bite. Its tiny bite-sized meaning is pointless worry, being worried about something you shouldn't worry about. It's a release of point of view. So tell us what Radley has to say. That's from Radley's deck, right? Radley
yes,
Valentine.
yes. So it says positive thinking is essential right now. Your
Mm,
own obsessive negative thoughts are the true culprits behind the trouble you fear. Release your guilt and realize that regret is a wasted emotion. Turn your attention to the amazing possibilities for the future and leave the past behind. If you're having unpleasant dreams at this time, write them in a journal, bless them for their desire to inform you, and then send them to the angels. If depression is an issue, encourage those affected to seek professional counseling. Um, it says also additional meanings would be sleeplessness, racing thoughts, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, stress-related illnesses. So it's really about, releasing what is out of what is not in your control. There's a lot of things that you can't control. So
that's
there's
right.
no point in worrying about those things. So that's also something that you can sweep off right away. It's not because, and also letting go of, I know some of us, and I used to be one of them, is I used to beat myself up when I made a mistake and it would just stay with me for days and days and days
Yes.
and days. And then I would revisit the situation and this and that. There's nothing I can do about it. It's already done. So yes, I can see, okay, maybe next time I can do it this way to make it better, but I didn't need to ruminate on it because
Yes.
that rumination creates an inner conflict and then it can create some physical stress and just imbalances in the body. So
Hmm. Hmm.
so really letting go of what's also what I think some of us tend to take more on the burdens of others or uh,
Absolutely.
feel like we should be saving the world and those kind of things where it's not our responsibility. So really being mindful of what are we responsible for and releasing what we're not responsible for because we don't need to be carrying the cross for everybody. This may not be
Exactly.
our role. We're not here to do that.
Yeah.
So,
And in some of the traditional decks, depending on the way the swords are pointing, if the points of the sword are pointing to the right, it's like projecting your worries into the future. You have to release that. You can't project your worries into the future because you don't know what's going to happen. And some of the swords are pointing to the left, to the past, worrying about the past and beating yourself up and worrying about what you did before, again, like you were talking about beating yourself about making a mistake. There's nothing you can do to change it. So this card is like the epitome of release, release, release. Let it go, let it go, let it go. It's not serving you in any way, shape, or form.
um, So I like to revisit the past in some ways because I work on the past patterns that I'm
Patterns,
still
yeah,
carrying. So I do like to explore the past, but through an observing lens, not
right.
a
Through a
judgment
different
lens,
lens,
right?
yeah,
So it's kind of like, okay, what am I to learn from past experiences? And then from that, giving myself the ability to shift. So I think the past is important uh to explore, but not through a compassionate lens,
right.
and looking at what we can be still carrying, because then that's where that release is necessary. That worry can be inherited. It might not
Right.
be even yours, or it could be the collective. The collective is
It could be the
worry.
collective, it could be ancestral.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
really paying attention to it, is it mine, or is it someone
Mm-hmm.
else's too? Because we could be affected depending how
Exactly.
of a sponge you are. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think revisiting and observing to learn, and especially when you're looking for patterns, like if you're doing shadow work, that's something you really need to look at. Uh, the Nine of Swords and Nine of Air is more about don't live there.
Right.
Don't
Right.
live there. Don't stay there. Don't remain there. Release what you need to release and move forward. If you need to look backwards for whatever reason, because something resurfaces and it's like, oh my God, that's one of my patterns. I thought I'd released that. I thought I'd cleared that. Well, something triggered you and it came back. So, yeah, I think it's important because if we forget our past, we're doomed to repeat it, right? Isn't that a saying that if we're doomed to repeat our history, the history that we forget, we're doomed to repeat?
Well, it looks like we're repeating some, right?
Yeah, we sure are. Oh my God. We could sure stand to release that.
Okay. Then
Day
let's see.
four?
It's day four is I am mindful. So the question is, how am I to release the attachment to self-judgment?
Well, that's such a good question. These were great questions. And this is from Carol's very first deck, the I Am deck. It's a deck of affirmations. I love this deck. I still use it every day. I think I was one of the first purchasers of it.
Yes, you were.
And it
Thank you.
has these beautiful questions at the bottom. So it's something that I pull it every morning and then I say, okay, this is the affirmation I'm going to live with today. And these are the questions I'm going to work on. So being mindful, look at this card, sort of looks sort of spiky. Like, okay, so what's poking me that I need to release, right? What thorns are
Right.
poking me? I'm mindful of my thoughts, words, and actions as they have a ripple effect on what I attract and on the collective. That's huge. That's huge. So I think that being mindful allows you to, if you're aware, Carole always talks about, she teaches and masterfully that you need to be mindful, you need to be aware, and you need to live out loud. You need to live intentionally. And this is the perfect card that reminds you of that, that pay attention, pay attention to your thoughts, your words, and your actions because they do affect you and they ripple through the collective and through the cosmos. Um, so the questions down at the bottom of the card are what are you projecting? I love that question.
And it's really answering the releasing the attachment to self-judgment, because if you're mindful about how you're talking to yourself and how that self-sabotage and that inner critic, it can keep you stuck. And
Absolutely.
and showing yourself a little bit of compassion opens the door to live something differently, so something different, and to invite something new. That Because in the self-judgment, it's like this. It kind of create that energy. If you think about the energy behind the self-judgment, it's kind of really has a heavy charge to it, like
Yes, it
and also
does.
a desperate kind of energy to it. So paying attention to that, and How do we treat ourselves? Like we were talking in another reading that we were doing, you know, you don't speak to yourself a lot of time the way you speak to another person. And you don't treat yourself the way you treat another person. So, maybe an exercise would be to write yourself a letter as if let's say if you're facing a situation, what kind of wisdom, what kind of word, what kind of compassion can you show, as if you were writing it to someone else, but you're writing it to yourself.
Smiling to yourself. That's okay. Can you hear the thunder? The rain is back. Did you hear that?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
good. Okay, because I have my earbuds in because I thought we might be getting some more rain. You know that is so true. It's so hard for us to have compassion for ourselves, and sometimes we're the biggest thorns in our own sides. And I love the image of the card because it looks pokey. And one of the questions, what do you project, thorns or kindness? And I think that's so important. And that's being mindful. That's being mindful about how you speak to yourself and how you speak to others. And we're always our own worst critics.
Right, right. Okay. Day 5. So the question was, or is, what are some ways I can release patterns and conditioning? So this is from the non-traditional tarot, and then this is the Akashic Tarot from Sandra Ann Taylor and Ann Klinger. They're sisters. And
They're twins. They're twin
right,
sisters.
right.
Yeah.
So the card is the karmic trench.
I
And
thought that was so appropriate because we were talking about patterns and stuff and release. And when this card came up, I was astounded because it's like it couldn't have been, you just keep digging the same trench over and over and over again. When are you going to climb out that trench? When are you going to release it?
so in a field meant to be planted, a man dirty from his efforts stand knee deep inside a trench. The seeds wait to be planted, yet he continues to dig deeper and deeper. There are other rows plowed and ready for planting, but they are ignored. This card reveals a difficult pattern in your life, a pattern of self-defeating feelings, thoughts, and actions that you've brought forward from previous incarnations. You return to this life with the intention of breaking this karmic pattern, but you got pulled into the old thoughts and behaviors. You've been digging yourself deeper into a karmic trench that gets harder and harder to escape. This pattern is not unknown to you. You recognize it in your relationships, in your jobs, and certainly in your beliefs, behaviors, and responses. It's time to take charge of your karma by altering the inner ideas, feelings, and patterns that can cause to make sabotaging choices. Every time you notice yourself making an old choice that digs you deeper into your karmic trench, you can change your mind and your actions. This will require your conscious effort every step of the way. Without such work, you could go lifetimes burying yourself in the same feelings. But with your commitment to making changes every day, you can dig yourself out.
I love that card. Isn't that the perfect card?
Yeah,
And
because
we
we're
were
talking
just
about
talking about
patterns
patterns and
and conditioning, so it's
and
perfect.
conditioning. It was a perfect card. So what do you need to release?
Yep.
Yeah. And by the way, those of you who are listening, Carole does Akashic sessions. She helps you work with your Akasha to release patterns so you can get out of that karmic trench. So if you're interested in that, pay attention at the end so you can get her contact information. And this is an Akashic tarot deck. It's a really interesting deck. It's not traditional at all, but it's very useful and very interesting. Has lots of good information.
So let's release all those patterns, right?
Yeah, get rid of those patterns and and by doing that, guess what? We release karma. We
Exactly.
release those patterns and we release karmas. We've grown from that, we've let it go, we've healed from it, and so we have completed that karma. It's done.
And it can also impact the future generation as well when you're clearing those
Absolutely.
patterns. So
Absolutely, because we are living karmic issues that we have inherited from our ancestors. And some of us are working through those things because we're the first generation that could do it. And we're releasing karma and patterns for lifetimes that we been brought forward because of our ancestors. So yeah, it's a big deal.
So the next question is, how can I release self-imposed limitations and stretch my perspectives and perceptions? And we pulled from the consciousness deck. I mean, the manifesto
This
deck. I'm
is a
sorry.
manifestor deck. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going backwards. Yeah, this is the
It's
manifesto
okay.
deck. I should read my own page, right in front of me. It's right there. And this is the card, Evolving into Light. Do you want to take that
Yeah.
one, Josie?
Sure. The manifestor deck, if you want to work on manifestation, this is even if I'm shamelessly self-promoting, but it's an amazing deck. The images are Carole's her in Solistry art. She's a graphic artist and she works with energy, with information that she channels. She works with fractals and she works with sacred geometry. And the vibration of these cards is amazing. And all of the cards have a side A with the image. And people who have our deck say, I never see the same image twice because they see something different every time. And then the side B is the message. So you don't have a guidebook. And the message, all of the messages from the manifestor deck begin with the phrase, for the purpose of manifesting my soul's desires. So, for evolving into light, for the purpose of manifesting my soul's desires, I acknowledge and release fears of resistance to evolve into light. I know that the process is eternal and infinite. Each time I break a pattern, I level up to a landing place of expanded perceptions, perspectives, and consciousness. I move forward in the knowing that things are attainable. Doors open. I evolve into who I am meant to be. So, this card encourages you to release your fears and your resistance to shifts and changes. I love this card. It's such an amazing card. Look at all the light in this card.
I love how on point the cards are to the questions. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, it freaks
it's
me
just,
out. It totally freaks me out when I pull a card and it's like perfect for the question.
and in the manifesto deck, I wanted to really create that sense of expansion. And so
Yes.
each layer is kind of like you're
Yeah.
healing. As you're working with the deck, it's kind of like you're working with layers and layers and layers.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
you
it,
can see how it vibrates out. These
yeah,
cards just vibrate like crazy. You can see the ripples
yeah,
coming out.
yeah.
And look at that face right there. Look at
Oh,
that
yeah.
face.
See that?
I love these because you never see like it's Jean Ann who always says I never see the same card twice
Right.
because it depends on what the question is and she sees something different in the image each time.
Well, and it's interesting too because it feels like um it's almost like you're looking through, you're holding a lens.
Yeah, it looks like
But then,
maybe the edge of a
r-
magnifying
yeah,
glass or
exactly,
some kind of
exactly.
a portal or a perspective or a lens where you're
Right,
looking through the layer after layer after layer and the vibration shifts and the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter and expands more and more and more, which allows you, I mean, it's so light filled that releasing resistance to involve into it, it just beckons to you. It just sort of calls you in, it pulls you in.
right, right. That's I don't know. I'm always in awe and appreciative of what came through for us with the decks. I mean, this is just a lot of a lot of
This was the hardest deck that we worked on because we were so exhausted doing this deck because we were pulled to to do so much more. I mean, it was every deck had its thing and every deck has its reason and its importance. This was our final deck, our fifth deck, and it was like everything came together because it's about the soul's desires. And we are here on this planet because our soul desires to evolve here in this time space. And we are manifestors. We are manifestors. We co-create with source. And so, yeah, this put us through our paces. This really made us work hard. We worked hard on all of them, but this one was exhausting.
It may not be the final because I'm working on
Oh,
other
oh,
things,
good. We're gonna do another one. Yay!
but there's a lot of projects in the works.
Yes.
They may not be in the same format. Let's just put it that way. Well,
Yeah. Are
really
you
like
doing something with vows?
yes, I am. Yes, I'm working on creating a deck with past life vows.
I think that's huge. I think that's what a service that will be to people to have access to that, to realize that they may be living somebody else's vows or vows that they made millennia ago in a past life, and it's still following them around, and how to release that. Speaking of releasing.
Yeah, it's all about the patterns, and it's those
Yes,
vows keep you in those patterns. If you've taken a vow of poverty, how is it influencing your life in this moment?
yes,
Or obedience, how is it playing out today? And how is it
exactly.
influencing your choices? So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of power, and I feel like I'm really drawn to working with that aspect of looking into the past lives and the vows and what transpired.
Right. And that's all about release.
Mhm.
It's all about release.
So our last card is in answer to the question, what am I willing to purge, to release in order to be at peace and embrace the manifester that I am? So it's from our Working with Color oracle. And the card is Coastal Blue, which is about healing, peace, and stability. So it's a perfect card to answer the question. And it says, I am open to the experience of receiving the healing I need so I can feel peace within. The more at peace my being is, the more clarity and stability I have. So to me, releasing those patterns and releasing that conditioning really brings me into that space of more inner, be able to create inner peace within myself and to gain clarity, because with clarity I feel like there's with clarity there's no compromise, because
Exactly.
you're the more clear you are about who you are and what you came here to do. So, the more inner work that you do to understand all of the aspects of yourself, and embrace all the facets of yourself, that clarity really helps you fulfill what you're called to do here, now,
Exactly.
in this lifetime.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what draws me is this blue is the color of the throat chakra,
Uh-huh.
and this deeper blue is the color of the third eye. And so it makes me think of the connection between the fifth and the sixth chakras. And you know, sound words have such a vibratory impact on things. Articulating aloud what you need to release actually creates a vibration that allows you to let it go. So this peace and the stability also comes from using your voice, speaking your truth, and connecting with that third eye, with source and your higher self to help you heal.
And I called it coastal blue because this reminded me of, I felt like it was kind of like a wave, a
Yes, it's
surfing wave.
absolutely a wave, absolutely.
So,
And
so
ride that wave.
right,
Ride
and then
that wave. Yeah.
exactly, and it's also water is cleansing, that
Yes.
blue. So connecting to if you're looking to release and bring in peace, you can work with this color as well, and
Yeah,
uh, and ride that
absolutely.
wave.
It also makes me think of there's if you've ever seen the movie Cloud Atlas, it
Uh,
talks about how we are water. We are being expressed as a wave coming out of source, and we think we're separate and individual, but we collapse back into source.
Mm,
And so we are one droplet of water in source, but we are also part of source. So we're part of the wave. We are the wave. So yeah, there's just
nice.
so much connection here and so much beautiful. And it reminds me it's cyclical,
Uh-huh.
reminds me of cycles. It's beautiful. And this looks like a blossom right here to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It also
A,
almost looks like a cradle because
yes,
you're
being
being waved one way and then you're being waved another way here. So it's kind
mhm,
of like you're being cradled
cradled
within,
and
within
rocked.
and
Yeah.
rocked that space, yeah, within that wave and the
Yeah.
source. So it is beautiful.
Yeah. It's a
Thank you for
beautiful
that.
card.
So that kind of concludes our 7-day card spread. You can find the questions and more into our Facebook group. So you're welcome to join us there. Please do so. We would love for you to engage. And you can also use the same questions to use with your own cards. And
Or if you're not a card enthusiast, you can use it as
journal
a springboard for meditation
that too, and or
or
journaling.
journaling.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, or any kind of you can use them with any kind of divination tool, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is the theme that we've chosen for this year, which is step into your authentic self. And every Sunday we provide a new topic. Uh, and then if you want to delve a little deeper, we have spreads. The new human spread has 50 questions. Some of the other ones are a little bit more unique in the way that you can work with the body's innate intelligence. So one of them is working with the 26 points of the spine. And then another one is for the 40, working along the 45 points of the stomach meridian.
You've
And
had some really experiences, interesting experiences when people have used that or you've done that with them, and it's like spot on what shows up. It's really interesting. So, yeah, if you're interested in the body's own intelligence and working with spreads and your meridians and acupuncture points,
then
absolutely.
we call them card spreads, but again, they can also be used for meditation or for journaling. So don't be limited to
Yeah, you're
using it
not
with
limited
cards.
to,
Right?
yeah.
And then we have our Oracle Circle every third Sunday of the month, unless we have an event that prevents us from attending, from hosting it, and we'll let you know. But this is a great way to connect and work with your cards and some of our questions and spreads and dig a little deeper as to the maybe the symbolic the symbols or the meanings behind it and have our expertise. I know Rosie has been using tarot and oracle cards for
I'm
years and years and years.
really old, a long, a long, long time, a very long time, probably longer than most people who are watching this have been alive. So, but I try to stay in beginner's mind and I love to learn new things. And so, I'm not, I don't consider myself an expert. I consider myself an eternal student because I'm always learning something. But I do have experience behind me, but I'm an avid learner, so I'm always trying to learn new things. And I
I'm
learned
somebody
something
that
from our people. Yeah,
yeah, so I don't like the word expert either, and I misuse the word, so the experience is better. Uh,
experience. Yeah,
right, because we do it is an exchange when we have in the person whoever is attending, we have an exchange with so it's an interesting exchange.
it is. And
And
everybody with a different lens and the different insight, we learn something all the time because somebody brings a totally different point of view.
it just moved without touching my
Oh,
fingers. So
what if
um,
you're picking up on the weather here?
we are in July. We're going to be exploring the topic of creating inner peace in our Patreon community. So you're welcome to join us there. We have 4 levels to for you to join, and the first level and up, you can also join our New Moon Circle, which is happening on the 25th of June. And then it's going to be every month. It varies depending on the time of day or when the new moon
When the new
falls.
moon shows up, yeah.
Right, right. So
Right now,
I'm
the new moons are at the end of the month, so they've
right,
been coming at the end of the month. Yeah.
right, right. So this is what we have a lot to offer in that community. So if you're interested, please, come and browse and join us there. And this is our emails. If you're interested in connecting with us, we host private sessions. Rosie does private readings, and I do and energy work. We do energy work, energy sessions. So, however we could be of support to you, we'll be happy to figure it out. So,
Right. And if your interest was piqued about the Akasha and Akashic work, this is the information you want right here from Carole. So you can contact her because she does do amazing sessions.
and you're welcome to join our newsletter because that way you get
Yes.
it updated. So go to soulfuljoyfulliving.com and then fill out the newsletter, and then you'll receive a gift, and then you'll be on the schedule of I only send it once a month, so it could be lengthy because I host a lot of different things. I do
Yes.
online, I do in person, I do events, private session, group sessions, so and then
Very busy. Busy
so
lady.
but we're here and nothing is forced. So that's kind of, it's everything is in integrity and really wanting to support our our viewers and our audience and our clients with uh, what we know, what we have to share, and hopefully with the transformative tools, it really brings you to a new level of consciousness. This is what we're about, is really, self-awareness and potential. So thank you very much,
Exactly.
everyone. We are done for this month. So we'll see you next month. And I'm not sure what the topic will be for next month. So we'll see.
We're still deciding.
We'll keep it a surprise.
It'll be a surprise. So you should come if you want to know what the surprise is.
So thank you, Rosie, for all your insights and beautiful contribution. I really appreciate you. I love you. And I will
Right
see.
back to you. Right back to you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. And if you need us, please reach out. Thank you.